Welcome back to another episode of the Next Wave Interviews. Now today I got with me, y'all know him. If y'all watch this show, if y'all watch to get back, y'all know who he is. He is my co-host, my brother, my family, Mrs. Demond Lawhorn. Oh, I almost forgot. Oh yeah, he also the host of Therapeutic Talks, which I am banned from. But y'all go check that out too. Temporary
Six-month ban.
Temporary ban. But he is my brother, my family, other co-host of the Get Back and host of Therapeutic Talks, my boy, Demond.
Yo, thanks for having me on the show, bro. I appreciate being
Yeah,
here, bro.
this-
It's a nice little vibe, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know it is. I know it is. Don't get too
Okay,
comfortable because
you know what I'm saying? This
your
is different
temporary
chair shit, you know?
your temporary ban is coming. Your temporary ban is coming.
I'm
You know
enjoy
what
while I'm
saying?
here, you know?
Enjoy it while you're here. Definitely enjoy it while you're here.
Hey.
It will not be long lasting. Man, so I want to have you on the show, man, because what we do a lot of the same things. We all podcast, we all on the show together. But a lot of people might not know about you is that you actually started doing like YouTube videos and things back all the way in 2021.
Yeah.
So, this is not something that is new to you. This is something that you have been doing for a long time. You've been putting yourself out there on social media for a while. This is something that you have taken a while to build.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to get you on the show today to kind of talk about how this came to be for you. Because it's not something that everybody always aspires to be.
Yeah,
Everybody doesn't always aspire to be in front of a camera or have their own show or just go on social media and kind of be like an influencer.
Yeah.
So where did this start for you?
Man, bro. I don't know. I believe, man, I was just bored in the house, man. Going to work after graduating, going to work, coming home. I'm like, man, bro. And I always wanted to do YouTube, always wanted to do something. So I started out doing skits. A little bit mixed reviews.
You was looking crazy in those
I
skits
was looking
too.
crazy.
Looking crazy in those skits.
And it's a day and night difference between where I started and where I'm at right now with the content. But I just really want to get my face out there, get people to see me. Because I always wanted a platform to be able to, do different things and, just show off, a little bit of personality, not too much, a little something, and, just, show my personality, show who I am, out to the world a little bit.
Now, one thing about you, one thing about you and all of us that's on the Get Back, we are social, but we're like very socially unsocial.
Okay.
And one of the things that I always have appreciated about you is your ability to put yourself out there. Even going back and watching some of like the older videos that we did when I was filming and you were going and doing your public interviews. How did that come about? Like because that is one of the things that really holds people back from taking that step is they're scared to kind of put themselves out there and to take that leap and for people to look at them and be visible. People sometimes they don't want to really be visible. So where did that strength to be visible come from?
Well, first off, I just enjoy talking to people. So the strength, to want to be visible is kind of like either way, people got opinions. It don't matter. People gonna have opinions about whatever you do, especially if you're putting yourself out there, you're putting a camera on you and everything like that. People gonna have their opinions about it. So I'm like, why not do it in a way where people can hear different perspectives from other people and possibly gain something from it? And that kind of gave me a little bit of strength to be more visible, is because I know other people's opinions can help others in a way. Like if I give you my perspective on something, it might change your opinion. It might give you a new perspective to look at it and be like, oh, I can handle this about, in this way, or I can go about this situation in a different way. It just really, it's different. It's different, like, ways I like to go about it and ways I like to think about it on why I like to be visible and the strength I had to be visible to the world, basically. But yeah, it's just, want to have other people have a voice. I want people to have a voice and be able to use their voice to, reach others.
So in that way, you want to be an inspiration to those people. Do you consider yourself as wanting to be an example? Not let me not even say inspiration, example of kind of stepping out of that comfort zone.
I want to be an outlet. I want to be an
Mm,
outlet to people that, are looking for a new way of thinking or looking for different people's opinions on harsh situations that they may be going through. You know, and that's like gotta be harsh. It could be, something that you're going through day to day, something that, people can look forward to and be like, hey, I like the way they were talking about this, or I like this opinion about it, or wow, I never heard this version of this before. I never had this opinion before until I heard it from a guest or I heard it from him or whatever. I just love giving people new ways of thinking and new routes to take if they choose to go down that way.
Now, one thing that I've wanted to ask you, because like I said, you do step out a lot and you do,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying, put yourself out there.
Okay.
Right now, what you're doing, I consider like media. You do a
Hmm.
lot of media work,
Hmm.
with your podcast and your TikTok and things of that nature. You do a lot of media work. But with the type of vibrant personality that you have, do you ever see yourself transitioning out of media work and maybe want to step in front of a camera and do a little bit more, artistic work, whether it be acting, hosting, whatever? Is that something that you find yourself interested in, or do you want to stay in the media space and continue to push yourself in this space?
Oh man, I want to be all over it. I want to be all over it. Not just media. As you know, uh, just recently get introduced to voice acting really
Mm.
by Real. Shout out
Real, shout
Real.
out real, shout out
Uh,
real.
got recently introduced to voice acting. That's something that I just enjoy watching. I enjoy watching cartoons or adult animation or whatever it may be. So voice acting is something I definitely want to get into at some point. I also just want to I want to step inside different, rooms of any type of media or whatever. I really just want to
Mm.
get my face out there as much as I possibly can so people can know, hey, he do this. And then if it's not something that they're particularly interested in, it's a thousand other things that I may be doing that they could step on and we can collab with, or, just have I want to have a whole bunch of different, hats to wear. So that way, I can step into other people's world and also make them feel comfortable while I'm there. And also, just build a network, get to talk to different people, meet different people, just have a good time while I'm doing it as well.
Absolutely. Now, with that type of aspirations to be
Hmm.
all over, because I want to be all over as well. I want to do
Yeah,
everything.
of course.
That is quite the hurdle. It take a lot of work. It take a lot of intentional fortitude. It take a lot to push
Hmm.
yourself
Yeah.
towards that, and it is a lot. Like it consumes your life. And I know me and you we had a conversation about this a couple of days ago,
Hmm.
about the commitment level.
Yeah.
And sometimes people are scared of that commitment. What steps do you feel like you've taken to not be scared of the challenge of wanting to be this like kind of 5-2 player in a way?
Um, well, I kind of view it in the sense of, do you want to be uncomfortable for a couple of years so you can be uncomfortable for the rest of your life?
Mm,
You need to push for yourself. You need to advocate for yourself. You need to be consistent with your passion and your craft and treat it as if it's a child. And you have to borderline be obsessed with your dreams and aspirations and goals for it to actually work. You can't half-ass it. You can't, you know, halfway do anything if you're really trying to push, especially in this area where
mm,
it's people that'll turn out 5 videos a day, 3 videos a day. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to be able to push out quality content. You have to be able to push yourself out there. You have to be willing to step outside your own comfort zone, and you have to be consistent. When I say you have to be obsessed, I really mean you have to be obsessed. You have to sacrifice, going outside all the time because you have to make sure your video's right.
mm.
Or even if we're not just talking about recording videos, it could be anything. You have to sacrifice time out so you can stay in and you can really hone in on your craft and work on what's really important to you, what you really want to be doing 5 years from now as an actual job or something that you can have a beautiful platform like this, and have others come on and speak their truth, speak their piece, or speak about their craft.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm glad you say that because a lot of people feel like they're obsessed with it,
Yeah.
and they really ain't yet. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? It's like always another level. It's always another gear you can go to.
Yeah.
What would you say to somebody that's trying that feels like they're obsessed, but still things still ain't working out the way they think that it should be? Like what would you give somebody to kind of help them continue to push forward in that sense?
When you give up, you could be inches away from striking gold.
Mm,
You know, you could be a year, or you could be a week away from your big moment. You know, everybody keeps saying, I've heard so many times that people that succeed on social media or just in media in general, they're lucky because they work every single day, and one day their video, they just get lucky and it changed their lives forever.
mm,
But the thing is, you're working so hard towards something. It's hard to, I wouldn't call it luck necessarily. I would call it, just your work paying off. And a lot of people, like you said, a lot of people aren't really obsessed. They think they are because they're uploading the video every day, but are you researching when you should be uploading? Are you researching what's the best time to do this, and what's the best platforms and the best captions, hashtags, all those things, the people you should be meeting? You got to visualize it as well. It's not just uploading it, it's visualizing what you want. Are you visualizing how you're going to get 1,000 subscribers, 10,000, 20,000? Are you visualizing all these different things? You need to make it a lifestyle, a habit for you. You need to visualize already in your head, I'm living this life, and now you got to step into your reality now. It's just really about manifesting really what you want, praying for what you want, and then working towards it. Because if you just write down a piece of paper, I want to be this, I want to be great. Okay, now what's the next step? Working towards it, and then you have to work towards it every day. You can't give up just because you're not seeing the results immediately. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
mm. Now, I want to shift gears for a second,
Mm.
and I want to talk about therapeutic talks for a
Okay.
second because when we do the get back, it's all smiles,
Yeah.
it's a lot of
Mm.
laughs, jokes. Sometimes we do some serious stuff on there, but the transition to therapeutic talks that I seen you go through to me was very impressive because it's a side of you that a lot of people might not see. And it's
Mm-hmm.
also something that I feel like our culture lacks, which is therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I got two questions. My first question is why the name Therapeutic Talks? And like why the name? What's the significance behind it? Like what went through your head that prompted you to create that space for somebody? And also, what is your connection? What is your personal connection to therapy or psychology? Um, and that also drew you to providing a space called Therapeutic Talks.
Okay, so great questions. First off, therapeutic talks is just, to keep it, not trying to simplify, but to, simply put, it's because, I want to be more of a free space to speak your mind like therapy, right?
Mm,
And also it just sounded good. Therapeutic talks just sound like it's a good name. And it just, I want people, when they first hear the name, when I'm inviting somebody to the show, I want them to first hear the name Therapeutic Talks. I want them to know this is a safe space. It's a safe space. It's not a space that you can come on and be judged or anything like that. This is for you to speak your mind, speak your opinion about certain topics, and just offer a perspective for those viewing at home. I think allowing people to have that space is really important.
mm,
I want people from the jump, from hearing the name, I want people to know that you are free to be yourself here, and you don't have to, masquerade as something else or be somebody else or anything like that. You can be 100% yourself and say whatever you want. There's no parameters on the show. There's no, guidelines on what you have to say, or I'm not trying to push you towards a certain answer. I want your answer. I want what you're gonna give me. What's the follow-up question? I'm sorry. What's the follow-up
what is
question?
your personal connection to therapy or
Yes.
psychology?
Okay. All right. Uh, in high school, I took psychology and sociology, but before that, I did I did, so I took psychology and sociology,
That man ain't tell you,
I
man.
learned a little bit something about Sigmund Freud, and I thought it was just you know, a real cool thing, learn about people's mind, learn about how they react to stuff, why they react to certain things.
Mm,
And I just enjoy uh, learn about people's behavior and why they may act that way. And I just thought that, it's already something that I've always been interested in since I was a little bit younger. And why not include it in something that I feel like has potential for people to really dive even deeper into their mind?
mm. And I really like that because therapy is something that I can honestly say that I feel like, just Black culture speaking,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we fear it. We
Yeah.
fear therapy. It's a lot to unpack, and we not really the best with unpacking.
Yeah.
So I commend you for creating a space that allows people to come unpack
Mm-hmm.
in a cheerful way,
Mm-hmm.
not in a I need diagnosis, not in
Yeah.
a I need somebody to dress me down so I can understand what's wrong with me,
Yeah.
in a way where they could come talk it out with themselves, and then you can provide that emotional support or that
Mhm.
feedback that can help them make a realization. So I
Yeah.
really appreciate that you offer that space because that's what we need. We all need therapy.
Mhm. Yeah.
Everybody in the world need therapy,
For
whether they
sure. For
whether they
sure.
think it or not. So I want to commend you for that. Now, obviously, you know what I'm saying, time for our segments.
Okay.
Um, breakthrough moment. And my breakthrough moment question for you is, it's kind of a staple question that I like to ask everybody, but what was the moment that you realized this was your calling? Like, can you remember that?
Yeah, I can. And it was in high school.
Mm,
I always had a vision of being able to, even dating back to, want to have a charity and stuff like that. Always want to impact people in a certain way. And I always want people to know that I am a open book, and I want people to be able to feel that they can be an open book with me as well and be able to pour out certain emotions without judgment.
mm.
And I had a moment where, and I know it sounds crazy, I was watching The Flash in high school,
That's been always watching The Flash, bro.
and I got a quote from The Flash, and it's from I believe Mark Twain said it, and he said that the two most important dates in your life is the moment that you're born and the moment you realize why.
Mm,
And it really stuck with me and made me realize that I was born to allow people to use their voice. I want to have a platform for people to use their voice. I want people to be able to talk to me and at the same time always be talking to the world as well and be able to broadcast who they are and open people up even more because we're so closed off nowadays. It's kind of hard for people to speak up and speak their truth and speak their piece and be who they are. And I want people to always be who they are. I want people to always be able to speak up and show the world that, hey, this is who I am. You can judge, you can do whatever, but this is who I am and I'm owning up to it. And I want people to be that way. I want people to understand that even if you do get judgment, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because nobody can live your life for you. It's only you. It's you versus you, and you can't really dispute that. It's really
mm,
just a competition with yourself. How am I gonna be a better person today? How am I gonna do this better? And that's the moment that really broke through to me, hearing that quote, and then just the actions I've taken forward after that is really what was my breakthrough moment.
And I definitely want to sound proud of you.
I
You know
appreciate
what I'm
that for
saying?
sure.
Because this is something that me and you have talked about for years upon years upon years. And you took that step. You took that step first, and you might not realize it, but you also provided me with an example of the steps that I needed to take. Even though always been right here, right beside each other,
Yeah,
sometimes you need that. You need to see it, and you provided that step for me to look at it and be like, okay, I see it.
yeah,
I see it. You know what I'm saying? The step, I see it. We always encourage each other. Real, always right by our side, encouraging us too. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, for
As we
sure.
encourage him.
Hmm.
So, you know, I really appreciate you and I'm proud of you because you've taken that step that also allows others to take that step behind you. And I always like to say, if each one teaches one, then we all are learning.
For sure.
So if
Yeah.
each one teaches one, we all are learning. So that, to me, that means that when you take that step, if you've now taught me to take that step, I can now teach the next person to take that step.
Yeah.
And before we know it, 100 people are taking steps.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? And we all taking steps to lead ourselves down the path that we want to go to. And before we get up out of here, I always like to end with in your own words. So I would love for you to tell the viewers in your own words who you are, what you want to bring to the world, they can expect from you going forward, and like I said, any new projects or anything that you want to promote about yourself. I want you to tell our viewers.
Okay. A whole lot of new episodes lined up for Therapeutic Talks. I want y'all to go check it out. A whole bunch of real conversations, a whole bunch of deep conversations, a whole bunch of thought-provoking conversations where I want you guys to understand that the topics that I'm providing is topics that I know that a lot of people aren't the most fond of talking about around people. And I want people to be like, yeah, I can talk about this now. Or now this is a more common topic to be talked about. And this is more of a, yeah, I'm comfortable now. Like, yeah, I'm glad I'm able to hear this conversation. So now I can have this conversation. It's not too much promotion. I'm just being honest. I just really want the people to see what I'm trying to do. I consider myself uh, a somewhat creative person, and I want people to be inspired by creativity and become creative themselves or unlock their creativity, because everybody has their own creative mind or thought process about stuff, and I just want people to be able to see that. And I think it's really important that somebody starts it or somebody opens up the floor so that we all can walk on it, that we all can, run through the door and have our time to be ourselves in front of people and just build something off of it.
Yeah, man, that's beautifully well spoken. Like I said, I definitely appreciate you coming on the show. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, eventually you was gonna be on here. You know what I'm
At
saying?
some point, bro. I was gonna break
At
through the
some
door
point,
and be
at
here at
some
some
point, you was
point,
gonna
bro.
be
They
on
had to
here.
let me in.
But
So
I definitely appreciate you coming and being in there with me, and being lending yourself to the show. I definitely want you guys to go check out Therapeutic Talks. It's a wonderful pod. It's a wonderful, insightful pod. If you want to learn about people, if you want to hear some real deep conversations and possibly get some healing for yourself, definitely go check out Therapeutic Talks. I'll make sure to have a link in the description of this video, of this one right here. Yeah, man, definitely thank you for coming on the show. As always, much appreciated. Be on the lookout for the Get Back coming back soon. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of stuff we got lined up. As always, my brother, it's been wonderful talking to you.
yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
That brings us to the conclusion of this episode of the Next Wave Interviews. As always, thanks for lounging with us.
I feel so deep. I dream.